Good morning and welcome to the start of another week. We've just wrapped up our week here at Asset Class and finished it with a management meeting, our monthly management meeting. It was a good session, an opportunity for us to look at some of the challenges that we have in the business, come up with solutions to try and address them. And one of the really interesting conversations that we had towards the end of the meeting was an assessment of how we are performing against the principles of our business, and we have 8 of them. I wanted to share them with you and also just give a little bit of commentary as to why we established those as one of our core principles, maybe also some commentary on how we're performing against them. So the first of our principles is, in fact, customer first. What that essentially means for us is trying to put any decisions that we make primarily in the interest of our customers. Clearly, we don't survive as a business if we're not keeping our customers happy, winning new customers. And so we've got to assess whether any decisions that we're making are in the best interest of our customers. Now, sometimes that might seem counterintuitive to our customers in terms of some of the choices that we have to make. There's always 100 different things that we could be doing. We've got to choose the ones that are most important, most impactful to our customers. But I think where we really seek to focus with that principle is in making sure that if we're having challenges in particular, that we are keeping the impact that it's having on our customers front of mind. If we're having to make challenging decisions, that we're making decisions that are in the best interest of our customers. If we're tasked with making a choice between route A and route B, we have to put our customer first. And even though it may be challenging for the business, we have to make that choice, right, in the interest of not just keeping our existing customers happy, but as I say, winning new customers. So customer first is our first principle, and hopefully our clients would back us on that. And yeah, let's take a look at our second. Our second principle is what we call alignment over agreement. It's essentially It's an opportunity for us when we have a challenging decision to make that maybe everybody doesn't agree with. It's to I guess do a gut check and make sure that even if we have to make a decision that not everybody is on board with, once we make that decision that everybody gets aligned with it, that we give ourselves the best opportunity for success. And so that alignment over agreement is really there to refer to when we have to make those difficult decisions in the interest of the majority, and the minority who maybe aren't 100% on board with it. If they subscribe to that principle, we'll get aligned with it, we'll move forward with it, and ultimately when we make that decision, we maximize our potential for success with that decision, with this principle of alignment over agreement. All right, let's take a look at our third. So our third principle is we move as a team. What we mean by that is that winning is a team sport. When you look at the complexity of what we're doing, for a lot of companies, there's change management, there's business analysis, there's certainly a lot of technical decisions that need to be made. There are, in new business sales, there are sales decisions, there's pricing decisions that need to be made. And so we have to get together collectively as a team if we're going to win. And so we move as a team, as a principle, is really designed to support that. And anytime we're not moving as a team, when we have kind of lone wolf activity, tends to be when we're least successful. So having that as a core principle is particularly important for me, for the management team. I think it's something that we do live on a daily basis, and very proud of the team and indeed the effort that we put in. So, all right, let's look at our fourth. Our fourth principle is that we are focused in our actions. This really comes back to the earlier comment that I made that there's 100 different things that we could be doing. And as a relatively small software company, small but perfectly formed, I think, we constantly have to make decisions in terms of where we focus our efforts and what gets our attention on a daily basis. And so being focused on our actions is really a gut check for anybody in the business to ask the question, are we moving in the direction that we need right now at this stage in our growth with the priorities that we have in front of us? And so a constant check-in with that principle is really important, ensuring that we're directing as much of the concerted effort of the business, our engineering resources, our business analysis resources, etc., towards the desired outcome for our customers predominantly, but certainly also making sure that we're looking after ourselves, we're looking after our team, and that everybody gets a sense of satisfaction from what they're doing. I think that's super important. And if everybody feels like they're making a contribution that is impactful and that they understand the context in which that contribution is being made, then everybody's going to be happier. Everybody benefits as a result, from our employees to our clients to our partners, and indeed to the extended families of the people who work for the business. So yeah, that's our fourth principle. Let's take a look at our fifth. Well, our fifth principle is something that I guess every single company and certainly every startup needs to be cognizant of, which is adapt quickly. And adapting quickly, particularly in this market, if we see everything that's happening in the private capital sector, there's a ton of change. I guess change is constant, but it's particularly true right now. There's a lot of external factors that are impacting the private capital markets, and so having the ability to adapt quickly and having that as part of the DNA of the business is incredibly important. Whether it's making decisions on where you're focusing your efforts from a product development perspective, the market you're focusing on, the messaging that you're bringing to market, it's all super important to have that, I guess, that litheness and that ability to adapt quickly. So yeah, that's a central principle of our business, the ability to where appropriate, stop what we're doing, assess and redirect or course correct to make sure that we're having the most impact that we possibly can for, as I say, for our clients, for our prospective clients, our classmates, and indeed for our partners. So that's our fifth principle. Let's take a look at our sixth. Our sixth principle has to do with ownership, and ownership in the context of taking the ball and running with it, not necessarily a lone run. I guess referring back to one of our prior principles, that we move as a team. The objective is to have clear ownership of a particular issue, to leverage the resources of the team to solve it, but to be clear from the outset who owns the problem, who's going to take that problem across the line and resolve it. And so 100% ownership is really about that. It's about ensuring that whenever we have a challenge, that the challenge is understood, that the person who's got responsibility for resolving it is clearly identified, and that ultimately they take it across the line with the support of the team. So that's number 6. Let's take a look at our penultimate principle, number 7. So number 7 really has to do with innovation. The principle is we are innovators. And the challenge that often comes with this is not deciding what to innovate on, but actually prioritizing the amount of innovation that we can actually deliver with the resources that we have. And so the conversation normally centers around what is really going to be impactful for our clients. There's a lot, for example, we could be doing with AI. A lot of it, quite frankly, sensationalized in my opinion. But nonetheless, it's one of those areas that you look at. You determine whether or not that should be part of the next cycle of innovation, or whether there are more important things for us to concentrate on. And so that principle is one that gets assessed by our development team on a daily basis. We clearly are influenced by our clients. Our professional services team work very closely with our clients to determine what is most important for them, the must-haves versus the nice-to-haves. And so, yeah, that's probably one of the, I guess, most active principles that we get to test on a daily basis. But the good news is there's a huge amount of room for innovation in this business, in private capital in general. And so we get to lead that as a company. We'd like to think that we are one of the most innovative companies in the space with what we're doing, and principle that we hold near and dear to our hearts. So that's number 7. Let's take a look at number 8. Okay, so number 8, our final principle is embrace transparency. As a business, we do our absolute best to be transparent with everybody, our classmates, our clients, our prospective customers. Transparency, helps us in the company in terms of, sharing the good, the bad, and the ugly. So when we have great results, which thankfully we have had and continue to have, we share that with the business. When we have some challenging months or quarters, we share all of the detail at our Throwback Thursdays. We share our financials, we share our cash position, we share our wins, our losses, the reasons for both. So we seek to be as transparent as we possibly can with everybody in the business, in the recognition that sharing the details through transparency allows us to tackle the issues or to do more of what we do well. The same is also true with prospective clients. We spend a lot of time going through what we call the 4 quadrants. When we sit down with a client, we talk through their compliance and documentation requirements, their operational requirements, their technical requirements, and what success looks like for leadership. And if at the end of that we're not a good fit for that prospective client, we share that with them. And in some cases that is the case. Thankfully, in a lot of cases, we're a great fit, and we'll share that as well. But I think that transparency is important to our prospective clients and indeed to us as a company. So that's our 8 principles. We find them very useful as a check-in. Do we hit the mark every time? No, we don't. And I think that's the reason that we need to have those principles, is to make sure that we course correct when we feel like we're veering off, as we do occasionally. We're all human. But there are principles here at Asset Class. Hopefully you've enjoyed hearing about them. If you ever feel we're transgressing any of them, please let us know. The same is true internally. We hold each other accountable to these principles. So okay, that's it for another week. Have a great rest of your week, and we'll talk to you soon.